You know, the best thing about pulling spinners and crankbaits on the same type of structure, same type of areas, is that a lot of the equipment that you use really is the same thing. When it comes to the components, to the bread and butter of what we're using today, we're using those flicker rig blades, which come pre-packaged, so it's really easy for you to use, and we're using flicker minnows as well. When it comes to looking for colors, this is unlike anything else. I pretty much try everything and let the fish tell me what works. But when you're looking at between going from a spinner blade in that flicker rig line to a crankbait in the flicker minnow line, or even the flicker shad line, a lot of the colors are very similar. So without a doubt, what we found with the spinners is this blue and silver color pattern has been phenomenal. So if I'm fishing that same location and I want to change over to crankbaits, there's a blue alewife color and a flicker minnow. So these colors are very, very similar. Another really good color for us has been this gold sunset. And this really is one of my favorites from body of water to body of water. So what Berkley's truly done for you is no matter if you want to fish spinners or crankbaits, they've made it very, very easy to dial in your color, especially when you found the one that's catching the most fish.
Professional angler Chase Parsons and Nitro Boats dealership owner Dave Atkinson are keeping their line setups as adjustable as possible.
There's one here, Chase, I think.
Yeah. Outside board, so, oh, nice. I get to clear both of them, huh?
I like to see you do something.
Helping to avoid the snaggy tops of their targeted spoil piles.
We have a ton of line out, so he's gonna be up pretty quick.
And ensuring that they don't burn any potential bites, no matter if the walleyes are on the top of the rock piles or deeper off the sides.
Oh, there we go. On the gold blade there.
Yeah, they're liking that flicker rig.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing is we're fishing in an area that's pretty snaggy, so we're losing some things, and these things come pre-tied, so we don't even have to tie up our own things. Just pull them out of the pack and put them on, and
they're made for a guy like me.
and catch some walleyes.
Chase and Dave are using strictly boards for their spinner presentation, and then a combination of boards and flat lines for crankbaits when searching new areas.
Your middle board, both your boards on this side are having issues.
Right on top of a hump. We're snagged up with some lines, but we got a fish on too.
Of course, neither is a guarantee that you'll remain snag-free, but the goal of both setups is ultimately the same.
We kind of have a train wreck going on right now. We got pretty much every line snagged up on the rocks, but you know, sometimes a snag turns into a nice walleye like this.
And that is getting the most out of each trolling pass for either presentation.
One of the things that I've found over the past few years that's really helped out a lot with trolling crankbaits on structure is utilizing both planer boards and flat lines at the same time. And I love to use the planer boards obviously because they spread the lines out. And in a situation like this at Sault Ste. Marie, the water is very clear, so it's nice to be able to get those crankbaits away from the boat so you don't get the spook factor. And of course, if I'm fishing a reef that maybe comes up to say 14 feet on the top, and there's a lot of rocks and a lot of snags, you want to make sure with those board lines that you're running those baits 12 or 13 feet down, because if you're running on the boards 14, 15 feet down, there's no adjusting that depth. You can change the speeds a little bit, which will change it very, very minutely. But with these flat lines, that's where it becomes really, really key. And especially when I'm getting to a new area, that's what I like to do. Off of these breaks, off of these reefs, there's 30, 25 feet of water, and a lot of times those fish are sitting in that transition on those breaks. So with these flat lines, I can actually run those baits down, and what I'm utilizing is an offshore guppy weight here. It's actually a 2-ouncer, and what I like to do is make sure that you have a constant. So I'm running 50 feet of line out on those flicker minnows and running this 2-ounce guppy weight and putting it down at various depths, and that allows me to fish that 30 foot, and then I raise it as we come up to those reefs, and it allows me to keep those baits real tight to the bottom with as little line out as possible. By utilizing flat lines too, along with your boards, you can cover a wide path, but cover a wide range of depths as well.
Hot topics, leading information, and tackle and techniques to make you a better angler. Presented by Mercury.
You know, for a walleye angler, one of the toughest decisions to make is if I'm gonna go get a bunch of new rods, what rod should I get? And Bass Pro has really helped the angler out over the last few years with that Walleye Angler Signature Series line of rods. Now they've actually revamped that entire series of rods, and that's a series of rods that we have personally used for many, many years. And we had a lot of input on this new series, which is pretty cool. And the first thing that you'll notice is the color's different, right? It's a dark green instead of a black. But that's really minor details, I guess, when I'm looking at a rod. What I see here is with the spinning rods, and these are available all the way from 5'9" up to 7 feet in length. But these rods in construction have what's called carbon coil technology. And basically what that's done is it's made all these rods stronger and lighter. And when you're talking light, that's something that's very important, because if I'm vertical jigging in a river with a 1/2 ounce jig all day long, it's nice to have a nice light rod in your hand. So there's those split handles here. There's actually a heat shrinked EVA grip on the spinning models too. Now as we look into the other techniques, they've also used that carbon coil technology, which is very, very good in both the bottom bouncer rod, which we have right here. You'll see it's a split grip as well. And this is a 7-foot handheld bottom bouncer rod with that trigger right here, that trigger grip. And I'll use that for pulling slow death, pulling spinners on bottom bouncers, a lot of different things. But the first thing that I noticed when I grabbed this rod is just truly how light it is. And then we go up into basically one of the most popular rods for walleyes, and that's your trolling setups. You'll see you have the telescoping models that you've always had in that walleye angler line. You have actually kind of the same style grip, but what you have is added strength to the whole setup. So when you're looking at rods, it's just as easy to decide on what rod I need to go with if I'm a troller, a jigger, or a bottom bouncer fisherman.